From infrastructure improvements to the future of the Isle of Palms Marina area, I sit down exclusively with Isle of Palms Mayor Jimmy Carroll for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and download my free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores.
Mayor Jimmy Carroll, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Quintin, Happy New Year. Good seeing you.
Likewise.
And thank you for coming back.
You're welcome. I'm sorry it's not warm out there.
You know, yesterday was so hot and muggy.
Yeah.
Today actually kind of feels like a little refreshing.
Yes,
but I'm not looking forward to next Tuesday. I hear it's going to get really cold.
Yeah, unfortunately. But, the warm weather will come back.
I kind of like the little bit of change of weather. We're still called semi-tropical area.
Oh, yeah.
And we do have a change of seasons. I just got back from seeing my son in Ecuador, and it's year-round 72 degrees.
Wow.
I kind of like a little bit of change every now and then.
Sure.
So, yeah, this actually feels good.
Feels good. You talk about changes. Obviously, there have been a lot of changes here on the Isle of Palms as far as laws. Let me go back to the beginning of the year. Obviously, plastic bags are outlawed on the island. What is the biggest difference between when the law was enacted to right now?
Quintin, I couldn't be more proud of Isle of Palms. I couldn't be more proud of Sullivan's Island, Mount Pleasant, Charleston County, Folly Beach. We are all looking at our beaches. The 1967 movie, The Graduate, with Dustin Hoffman.
Oh, yeah.
And one of his parents' friends said to the young Dustin, "Plastics are the future." And those same plastics from 1967 are still here, washing around our waterways, and the fish are eating them, and it's a nasty thing that's going on out there, and we've got to be good stewards of not just here but our whole planet. And so we are being proactive and looking at the future. We're looking at what the harmful effects of plastics are to our environment. And as of January 1 this year, we went with a total plastics ban. And we're also went with this year anti-cigarette smoking on our beach ban. So we are putting our money where our mouths are. We want to protect our environment.
Obviously, I'll tell you, I went down to Walgreens at Calhoun the other day, and I was shocked that they had the brown paper bag.
Yeah.
And then I went to the corner store, and they gave me a plastic bag. How are you guys really enforcing this law right now in your mind?
Well, I think every one of our merchants here in Isle of Palms has readily jumped on board and said, all right, we understand what you're trying to do. And while in the beginning they didn't like it, they came on board and they go, now we see why you want to do it. And as you walk our beaches and take a look around, it looks clean. And again, I'm proud. I'm proud of what we've done.
What you have done. And you talk about changes. I got to talk to you about the Marina. Susan Hill-Smith, obviously a council member here, basically says, hey, the city will be hosting a community marina workshop at the Recreation Center at 5:30 on Thursday, January 30th. At the meeting, they will be seeking feedback regarding the community's vision for the Isle of Palms Marina area. That conversation, you're having it right now with the public, and you're looking for the community's vision about this. Where is your vision about the marina?
Well, my vision has always been the same. In fact, the vision helped get me elected mayor.
Right.
In 1999, Isle of Palms held a referendum on whether to buy that land from the Finch family or not.
Right.
Finch said, we're going to develop it into condos and houses and stuff, and you're going to lose your water access. The referendum vote was something like 9-1 in favor of buying the property. When the city bought it, they had leases already in place down here. The city bought it with these leases. Over the years, they've extended those leases. Since I've been on council in 2012, 2 years later, their lease renewal came up for 2 of the leases. And the council voted 7-2 to extend 2 of those leases until 2045. And to me, those leases should have been triple net leases, where the tenants are responsible for all maintenance, taxes, and insurance and stuff like that. Instead, what the city gave them was the city's responsible for the maintenance of the docks and the bulkhead and the gas tanks. I voted against that because it wasn't resident friendly. It went that way. I have to live with that. So when it came time for me to run for mayor, there was a $5.5 million referendum to redo that whole marina.
Right.
And my point was, all right, you're going to put $5.5 million into the renovations of a marina, and you got a tenant that is there until 2045, and his lease is locked in at the exact same thing until 2045. So we're going to spend all that money down here, and yet we're going to get nothing else in return. That's just crazy. So it failed, and I got elected mayor.
Right.
Now here we are 2 years later,
Right.
and we have 2 leases that have come up, and they expire at the end of next summer. One is the Morgan Creek Grill.
Right.
We put a request for proposals out there. We had 3 replies, and we are negotiating with one of those respondents. They got a 90-day due diligence. The last one is where a water sports company is, and those guys do a jam-up job for tourism. They do it for residents.
Right.
They do a nice job for hiring local kids. So, I mean, in a way, I kind of feel sorry for them, and I would like to find a way for them to stay in business, but I'd also like to find a way for the city, the residents of Isle Palms, to have a dock that they could use. This is kind of like our last opportunity to have a public dock, like Mount Pleasant.
Yeah.
Has a great public dock. The city of Charleston has a great waterfront park.
Right.
The city of Beaufort has a great waterfront park. Here we've got 5.12 acres of land, but it's all leased out. So I would like to find a way for the city of Isle Palms to have a small portion that we can have our residents have water access. Find a way for Tidal Wave, the water sports company, to be incorporated into one of the other leases, and everybody wins.
Yeah.
But no matter what happens, it's all going to come down to what do our residents want. So we are asking for everybody to go to iop.net.
Right.
And there's a questionnaire under the latest news. Fill it out. We're having a public forum on the 30th at 5:30. Please come. We're going to have dots where people can put up on the board. What do you want to see?
Yeah.
And no matter what I want, or no matter what any council member wants, the end result's going to be, what do our residents want? And we're going to listen to our residents.
Going back to the marina plan, obviously, you are leasing out those, particular
Right.
Initiatives with those particular businesses, and the city's paying a lot for that. Altogether, between now and 2045, how much is the city going to be paying altogether?
Well, we put over $1 million into just replacing gas tanks last year. We've got docks that need to be replaced because of the lease that was written a couple of years ago. That's our responsibility. So we're in the process right now of getting the permits to replace the docks that need to be replaced, because we're the landlords, and we wrote the lease that says we're responsible for it. So, I mean, we're talking millions and millions of dollars.
Jesus.
But that's the lease we have, and we have to honor the lease that we got ourselves into.
And you talk about, obviously, IOP.net. I want to go to, obviously, what happened last year as far as a lot of things that you all accomplished here on the island. Infrastructure improvements. And I read this. Obviously, you all completed the 2018 Beach Nourishment Program and project, which places approximately 1.6 cubic yards of sand on
million cubic yards.
That's right, on the western end of the beach. The project was funded by a combination of local, state, federal, and private funds. Altogether, local, state, and private funds. Well, how much were those funds?
Well, just to give you an idea, a lot of people say, well, it's for Wild Dunes, and they're a private entity. You can't drive down there to the beach. What we have to look at is most of the properties on Front Beach down there are the high-rise condos and stuff, and they rent out, and they bring in a huge amount of ATAX funds. Huge amount. And that comes to the city of Isle Palms, and then it goes to the state of South Carolina and Charleston County. So those are monies that we all make that we should put back into the beach to keep our beaches healthy. Isle Palms enacted a 1% beach renourishment tax. Anytime somebody rents a house, but the Wild Dunes or anywhere in Isle Palms, That goes into our beach renourishment fund. That generates about $1 million a year. $1 million a year sounds like a lot of money, but when you're talking a project that costs $12, $13 million to do, it takes a long time to generate the money. So it's a combination of the stakeholders in the wild dunes, the different regimes that are affected, the resort itself, the people own the golf courses, the tennis complex, Lowe's. They have to help fund some of this stuff. Individual property owners that are not in a condo regime but have houses right there, they all chip in. The interior property owners in the wild dunes chipped in. So it was not only the wild dunes, but it was outside the gates. Isle Palms chipped in, Charleston County, and the state all chipped in.
Wow.
It was a meeting of the minds to keep our beaches healthy. And sea level rise is happening, and we're going to see it over and over again. So we have to be proactive and start thinking about the future and start saving now for our future beach renourishments.
And in the infrastructure improvements status, it also says this: you all planted dune vegetation on the beach restoration project area. The vegetation serves on an anchor for wind-blown sediment and promotes continuous dune growth. The city also established a matching program to encourage and facilitate additional plantings at dune vegetation on the beach. How many additional plantings are you thinking about right now?
Well, I mean, we encourage people to be proactive. We encourage people to put money into the sand in front of their condo project or in front of their residential houses, because the more that you can stop the flow of sand down the beach, the more the dunes are going to build up. We also encourage people to put in sand fencing that stops the flow of sand going down the beach. If you can walk down our beach now and you can see houses that have vegetation, you can see houses that have sand fences, and you can see some properties that have nothing. And those who have been proactive have little swales of sand building up. Those who have done nothing is flat, going down to a concave where the sand's blown away. Our sand is basically, I like to say north to south, but it's really east to west, the way our orientation is. If you look at our beach, then you go to Sullivan's Island, and they've got a big problem over there because all of our sand's ends up over there. The jetties that protect Charleston Harbor stop the flow of sand that used to go to Morris Island and Folly Beach. And so Sullivan's Island has a big problem that it's built up so much that so many property owners on the beach can't see the ocean. Because it's built up of sand and the vegetation, and they put that land into a conservation easement. So they've got their own unique issues. We've got our own unique issues, but we have to be and remain steadfast that it's always going to happen, and we always have to be ready and be willing to protect what we got.
And also in the infrastructure improvements project, you all started the design, engineering, and permitting of phase-free drainage, obviously, which will consist of drainage improvements to 30th, 36th, and 41st Avenue outfalls. What are those outfalls?
It's a huge project. We did phase 1, and we just completed phase 2. Just over a year ago. Now we're on phase 3. Drainage outfalls are basically, if you look at this map here, phase 1 was here, phase 2 is here, this is phase 3 from here to here. This is 41st, 36th, and 30th Avenue. All the water up here on the front of the island drains out the back of the island. And with sea level rise, we have flooding events. This is 41st Avenue. This is the Marina, 5.1 acres here. On some of these king tides that we have, this whole thing's underwater. So we are looking like at the Dutch Docks in Charleston. We're building these drainage outfalls at the very end along the waterway. And we're going to have flapper valves in them so the water can flow out, but it can't come back in. On some of these events, our fire station number 2 is right here. We have to take our fire trucks out of that station when we have these huge king tides. Because our fire trucks can't drive through salt water. So we got to get them out of the station, let that water go down before we bring them back. Big projects, I can't wait to get started. I wish we were started now. The only reason we're not started right now is we had to get the permitting in place. And we'll have it done this year, and we'll start our phase 3 drainage.
And who are the contractors?
Well, right now, we've got engineers who are designing the outfalls, and then we'll bid it out to who gives us the best price.
Best price. What is the best price in your mind now?
Somewhere around $4 million.
Oh.
Somewhere around $4 million.
$4 million, okay.
That's just for 3 drainage outfalls.
Yikes.
You got the interior ditches throughout all of Isle of Palms.
Right.
Some people have filled them in with inferior pipes.
Okay.
And anytime you have a turn in a pipe,
right.
a drainage pipe, and a palm frond gets in there,
right.
it clogs up those pipes,
right.
Causes a drainage problem.
Sure.
So we have worked with Edie's Construction.
Oh, yes.
Edie's had a once-a-year contract to come out and help clean our pipes.
Yeah.
Now we've gone out 3 times a year.
Wow.
FCDOT, we've been working with them, and they used to never come out. Now they're coming out 4 times a year. Every quarter they're coming out to help work on hot spots. We also created a $500,000 fund to go after certain hot spots on the interior of Isle of Palms that we're working on as we speak. So we are being very proactive when it comes to our drainage and our drainage outfalls. We're also being proactive as for sea level rise.
Right.
We've had an area where somebody was wanting to take 3 houses and create 5 lots. Okay, the zoning allowed them to do it.
Sure.
Our minimum lot size at the time was 17,500 feet. They took 3 lots and making them into 5 17,500 square foot lots. We have since increased our minimum lot size to 35,000 square feet. So we're trying to make it tough.
Okay.
The less non-pervious material we can put out there, the better. We have decreased the lot size coverage. Before you could have 40% lot coverage.
Right.
We've decreased it down to 35% lot coverage. We're requiring anybody who is disturbing or taking up old driveways, if they put it in the same exact footprint, they can still use concrete. But if they change it at all, then it has to go to pervious materials, paverscape, pervious concrete. We're trying to be proactive in getting the water off the island.
Off the island. And let me talk to you about the other infrastructure improvements, because obviously you all began the design and engineering of the public safety building.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Okay, that's a long story, but to put it in a nutshell, that building was built in 2008.
Right.
2008, 2007 was the peak of the recession, if not depression, depending on how you want to call it.
Okay.
We bid that building out. This is before my time on council.
Right.
And they ended up taking the low bid. And that building was replacing a previous building that had mold and mildew problems. Well, this building that we have now, this was built in 2008, we have drainage ceiling problems from the roof, water coming down. We have interior block walls that should have been filled with concrete, they're not. We have siding that's buckling with water getting behind there. We have concrete slabs that the rebar is starting to show through. So in essence, that building cost us $6.5 million to build in 2008.
Right.
The latest price we have to do the renovations is $6,170,000. Yes, huge.
And Mayor, with all due respect, is the city going to actually take legal action against the people who initially...
We took legal action. When I first got on council, it was in legal litigation. We did get a dollar amount. We got $1.8 million. The attorneys got a third of that, so we got $1.2 million.
Right.
And this thing's going to cost us roughly $6.2 million. Minus the $1.2 million means we got to come up about $5 million.
Where do you start?
Well, Isle of Palms is. I'm so impressed with our city staff. And we are doing everything we can to keep our taxes down.
Right.
We have the lowest tax millage rate around Charleston County.
Wow.
It's because of tourism.
Right.
One third of Isle Palms is owner occupied. 1/3 is second home. 1/3 are vacation rentals.
Right.
Second homes and vacation rentals pay on a 6% basis. Homeowners pay on a 4% basis.
Sure.
You think 6% versus 4%, that's only 50% more. But in reality, the difference between a 4% and a 6% is 300%.
Right.
The 6% assessed properties pay the Charleston County School bond money.
Right.
The 4% assessed properties do not.
Mm.
So there's a lot of money coming in that way. And then the ATAX money,
Right.
the tourism funds,
Right.
that brings in a huge amount of money. So I would say that 73% of our revenues are due to non-owner occupied properties.
Right.
Thank goodness for tourism.
Right.
We do have a plan for our drainage. We do have a plan for our docks. We're going to be borrowing money for the drainage. So we're going to be borrowing money for the docks. We think we have it covered with our public safety building.
Mm.
We're being fiscally responsible with everything we're doing. We're doing everything we can to keep our costs down. And this past year has been incredible.
Incredible.
We've got a new city administrator.
Right.
Who is as energetic and positive as can be. We have a new police chief, Kevin Cornett.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't met him yet, go do an interview. You'll
Yes.
enjoy it. If you haven't interviewed Desiree yet, you need to do an interview of her.
Are they available today just to say hi?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure Desiree would be happy to say hi to you. And Chief Cornett, if he's available, I'll send him a message and please go by and say hello to you,
Sure.
introduce yourself,
Sure.
and set up a time to do an interview because they have been very positive aspects. And then our regular department head, Norma Jean Page at the Recreation,
Right.
is phenomenal. That's the benchmark of the quality we want on Isle Palms. Our recreation center is beautiful. Chief Graham with the fire department
Right.
is so well respected. She grew up on Sullivan's Own, started off with Sullivan's Own Fire Department, and she's our fire chief on Isle Palms. Donnie Pitts, our Public Works Department. Great guy, we've got great departments.
Mm.
I mean, I can't say enough good things about Isle Palms.
You talked about obviously the new police chief. Public safety is going to be probably a big issue coming in the summer. How prepared is the police department right now?
Our police department is prepared. We're always looking, being a background and looking at our starting salaries and stuff like that. We have to train these new officers coming on board.
Sure.
And when they come out here, Isle Palms is a pretty laid-back community.
Yes.
And you get these young officers, they want to come on board and they get the great training. But they go, in summertime, we get to patrol the beach.
Right.
It's not so bad, but in the wintertime, it's kind of slow. And they kind of we want to be doing more action. Same thing with the fire department.
Right.
We are competing with all the outlying fire departments and police departments that are much more active fighting bigger, larger, more frequent crimes.
Sure.
To me, if I were an officer, I'd kind of like to be on Isle Palms where I feel like I'm going to go home at the end of my shift.
Sure.
I look at all of our public safety personnel as heroes because no matter who they are, Isle Palms, fire, police, Sullivan's Own, when they go to work, you don't know what you're going to be faced with during that shift that you're working on. So, I look at them and I bow to them every time I see them.
Yes, absolutely. And let me go over to some community enhancements because obviously I believe there's going to be, this is an added new beach access path signage to the Breach Inlet, 31A and 53rd Avenue, enhanced to messaging visitors and reduce sign literature.
So we've got some beautiful new sign access at all of our beach accesses. 53rd Avenue, what we're doing is we're actually building a handicap accessible walkway. We're going to increase the number of parking spots from 1 to probably 3 for handicap accessibility. And signage down at Breach Inlet, that's just something that Breach Inlet is beautiful, but it's also not a spot you want to swim in.
Right.
When you get to these inlets, you get all this water back behind us that's flowing every 6 hours, one direction or the other direction. So people have to be very careful when they swim in those inlets. We're trying to do signage that says it's great to come and walk, but don't swim.
And I know obviously you all are completing the design of the Isle Palms Connector and Palm Boulevard sidewalk extension project funded by the Charleston County Transportation Sales Tax. Construction is scheduled to be completed next, I guess, in spring. Where are we with that right now?
So where we're at right now is when you come across the Isle Palms connector,
Right.
they get these two big lanes, a big emergency lane in the middle, two wide pedestrian and cyclist paths on each side.
Right.
But when they come down to the foot of Isle Palms, there's a turning lane,
Right.
and those pedestrian paths disappear. We are creating a path. We are right here. This is the connector. We're over here.
Right.
We're going to create a path to the Leola Hanbury Memorial Park through there to make it safer for bicyclists and pedestrians
Wow.
to be able to get off the bridge safely,
Right.
and also go through a beautiful park.
Yes, yes. So I hope they'll be able to run through here a little
Oh,
safely.
absolutely. I mean, we got good things going on in Isle Palms, and I couldn't be more proud.
Proud. And where are we with resilience here on this island in your mind?
Oh my God, I keep on saying how proud I am. I just went to the Galapagos Islands.
Right.
And that's supposed to be the epicenter of conservation and resilience and everything. And the islands that are uninhabited were pristine and clear.
Right.
But you go where the islands are habited,
Right.
I saw plastic bags and plastic bottles and trash everywhere. I'm going, God, we are so far ahead of the epicenter of the environmental movement. So we are doing a lot of things when it comes to resilience. The outfalls we're talking about, the
Right.
drainage, the
Right.
cleaning our ditches.
Sure.
We're talking about the plastics. We're talking about non-smoking on the beaches. I think we've done some great things in Isle Palms, and I think we are leading the Low Country in doing this. I say leading. Sullivan's Island is right there with
Right.
us. Folly Beach is right there
Right.
with us, and Charleston County is doing it.
Yes. Obviously, you talked about a whole lot of things that I'm sure you're going to put in your State of the City address soon. What will be the title of your State of the City address?
You know, part of our city motto is we're not looking for just right now, but for what are we doing for future generations. We want to leave Isle Palms better than when we found it. So when my kids and their kids and their kids come along,
Right.
they still have a beautiful, pristine island to come to.
That's so amazing.
And again, we're doing it.
Doing it. Yes, indeed. Well, Mayor Jimmy Carroll, thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Quintin, I'm always glad to see you.
Likewise.
And you're welcome back here anytime. You want to come back every 6 months, we'll make time for you.
Oh, yeah, I'll be warm by then.